Hi, good morning, everyone. It is very interesting to see how the different kind of speakers connect a real common goals into the real estate industry, looking into what the future will bring into the development up to the point of how designs and efficient places like co-working, co-living spaces are going into the whole real estate industry, so interconnecting one to another. So my name is Fausto Liriano. I am the chairman and CEO of RCL Realty and Consulting Services. I've been in the Philippines for 11 years, and I am assigned to talk today about mixed-use development, especially those with a 5-star international brands hotel. So I don't have the, Richard, I don't have the, sorry, to move on. So as I mentioned, we're gonna talk today about mixed-use development. And to start into this, so we're gonna move on with this, understanding this into 7 simple steps. As we can see, we're gonna talk, number 1, about the macroeconomic indicators, because it's very important to understand what kind of development you're gonna bring, specifically in the place that you want to bring them. In our case, we focus more on the countryside, bringing landmark projects that can raise the value of the real estate into the specific area that we will be working. Number 2, partnership into international 5-star hotel brands. We are doing this for the past 10 years. And also, what is important into that is that we are not talking only about real estate, but we're also talking about lifestyle. Therefore, we are introducing a lifestyle. Very important, as mentioned our friend from DVP, having a sustainable design. That's why therefore you should be responsible into the tourist destination. One more important thing to do and to help is integrating the nature into your development. We will know later on how are we doing it, and I am sure so many other developers are doing the same. And very important also talking about epic dining and iconic signatures entertainment. In our case, that is very important because as a difference of developing into the CBD, we are helping the countryside to raise bars into the real estate, into those focal points. And then very important, when you engage into that kind of developments, is the Hassli free. So let's understand more about what we are talking about. So Philippine microeconomy, I am sure many of you are very familiar with that, right? So as we know, up to the 2015, Philippine population is 100.9 million. So as of today, I'm not sure, but it must be at least 10% more than that information. Very important, the GDP in the Philippines is very strong. It has been consistency at least 6.3 in the past 5 to 7 years. So foreign investment is 9.8 billion US dollar as far as the records will concern. And we all know that Filipino OFW remittance is 32.2 billion, and at least 30% on that money goes to real estate. Inflation is only 3.3%. Exchange rate as of April with dollar is 51.76. And unemployment is only 5.2 as of January 2019. Therefore, the Philippines is very strong in terms of investment and in economy. I believe there was a study that the Philippines is among the 10 top countries to invest in the next 10 years. When we talk about international brand, in our case, we are representing 2 projects with Dusit International. One is in La Union, and the other one is in Cebu. As I mentioned, we're focused more into countryside, helping into the development, comparing on be into the CBD where there is a lot of competitor and a lot of people doing a good job, but we want more into helping into the community, into the countryside. And how do we do that? Bringing landmark projects that will help the community, not only in terms of helping in the tourism, but also helping into the economy and contributing into helping Filipinos into have a better job in their common area that they are living instead of going away working somewhere else. Okay, so in our case, as I mentioned earlier, we're carrying on 2 projects with Dusit. Number 1 is in partnership with Grand Land, with the Gaisano family in Cebu. It's located in Cebu City beside the Cebu Country Club, in between the Cebu Country Club and the Cebu IT Park. And that project, in this specific case, is a service apartment. In the case of La Union, we are representing the Dusit Waves Hotel. This is just some render of how this is going to live. And as mentioned by Richard, this is a 7.2 hectare mixed use where we will have 100 villas, 216 hotel rooms, 2 towers of condominium with around 168 units, and 40 units of beachfront apartments. So, as I mentioned before, we don't want to talk about just a real estate. We want to talk about lifestyle. Why is that very important, if you ask me? As I was talking to Richard earlier, or with our friends from JLL, in our case, most of the people who are investing or buying units into this kind of developments are doctors. Doctors have a busy life, but they need a quick escape where there will be easy to access. But at the same time, they want to invest in a place that their money will be safe and they are hassles free. We will understand later on why. So number 1 thing that you will see here is you will enjoy a full first-class hotel-like amenities. You will have, in any case, either in the residential or in the hotel, you will have all those kind of services that you can relax and enjoy the lifestyle, like laundry, cleaner, housekeeping, restaurant. In most of the cases, you will also become a member. Therefore, you will have discounts, privilege into spending into the all different areas of the project. Very important, dynamic returns, potential ROI up 7 to 11% per annum. That's a very important factor for this. High property value appreciation, potential yield of at least 5%. In most of the cases, definitely is higher than 5%, but we just want to be conservative and not to overpromise to anyone. So let's now talk about, you have this kind of lifestyle that you want to bring, but you have to make sure you are doing a responsible tourist and, as our friends from PDP mentioned, sustainable designs to be achieving the goal that you want to look into the project. So how do we do that? In simple words, you don't want to be like everyone else. You want to be part of the difference. How will you make a difference into that? There are many ways. In our case, you will probably see later on, one of the things that we adapt into the nature, what we did before, as mentioned here, you integrate the community. Therefore, you listen what is going on in the place, in the environment, and how you can help to contribute to improve whatever is happening there. So the other point is create impact in the community. How do you do that? Again, you involve the community, you engage with them, and you make them feel part of your development. So in our case, one of the things that we did, which is go parallel with the contributing to the community, is that we are already in our contract with Dusit demanded that at least 80% of the employees should be from the province. Although in the province ordinance of La Union, it is only at 30%. But we want to be more than that because our job, aside to bringing a nice development, is to help the community to grow. So on another note that we have, we get involved. As I mentioned, we have programs where we do scholarship, where we do feeding programs, where we do trainings, and of course, where we make sure that we are contributing on whatever the community is doing in that specific areas that we are working. And you will do that in your corporate social responsibilities. A lot of people will only do corporate social responsibility when there is a typhoon, when there is political time, which is also good because somehow you're helping the community. But you have to be consistent into what you call corporate social responsibility. Another very important thing is you have to respect the environment. How do you do that? In our case, in one of our projects in La Unión specifically, we are a beachfront. So therefore, we do coastal cleaning, and we have lifeguards, and we make sure that the environment is clean, and whatever design we are doing, we will be integrating the environment consideration of the city. And more important, you have to look not only into what is going on right now, but what the future will bring to improve those areas. And as I mentioned earlier, you contribute to the economy. How do you contribute to the economy? Number one, the real estate tax that you will be paying yearly into that development will help tremendously to the people in the community, because that will be split among, like 25% will go to the barangay, its percentage goes here, but somehow you will help and you will contribute to the economy bringing this kind of project, because you are helping, you have to remember, you're helping the real estate bar to increase and to raise. On another note, you have to make sure, as I mentioned, very important, to integrate the nature into your development. While ago, our friends from PDP, I believe, were talking about how you have to make sure how the water go in, how the water go out. They were mentioning also about, STP, and they are solar, like mentioned also by JLL. I think Ian was mentioning about the future, many things like solar panels, and they are nowadays even by mentioned by our friends from town, how the name of the co-living, sorry, I forgot, but they mentioned earlier that they were using also glass that will contribute to have less heat, are heat resistant, to contribute into helping with the aircon. So there are many ways we can help into that. But when we talk about integrating the nature, a lot of people will probably don't care about what is going on with the wild. A good quote will say, "Children are the living message we send to time we will not see." That's by Niall Postman. So let us instill in the message of respect. That way we can contribute to the children to help into the community. In our case, as I mentioned, one of the things we are doing in La Unión, working with Kurma, a private group in La Unión and other sectors, including the local government, we adapt, they call it the pawikan, which is a kind of turtle that a lot of people in the Philippines are doing to preserve them. But it's sad to see that only 1% of those turtle hatchings survived to become adult. Yes, sea turtles is amazing, but they will come back to the place that they born. How do they do that? I don't know. It's part of the nature, right? So we dramatically increase their chances for survival by making sure they get to the water. So we had that kind of program in La Unión, and as a matter of fact, that's why it's important to involve the community. There are many things that we have to consider to make sure that the pawikan are going to be preserved. There are small things that you can do. For example, one of the smaller things that will impact those pawikan in the beach area is, number one, use yellow light. Don't use other kind of lights because we'll keep them away. These are just a little effort that will help impact into the community. Number two, probably make noise or like party and things like that up to certain time, let's say up to 10 p.m., 11 p.m., so the pawikan can have time to go around into the other time. So that's one of the things that we adapt into them. Another way to see, it's sad to see a lot of development, they are not considering, or in plants, they will have 3 plantings. But when we go into development, there is no plan to comply, and probably no government entity are most of the time monitoring that kind of implementation. In our case, and like many other developers, I am sure, we want to make sure that you will hire a good landscape architect who will make sure that your environment it will have, a lot of nature integrating in the place. But it's very important, even if you believe it or not, again, to involve the community to understand how that kind of trees work in your specific place, because not all the trees will adapt to your development. So those are simple efforts that you can do to help integrating nature. In our case, again, in one of our projects, we are into a surfing area, but again, you want to do it responsible. You just don't want to be like everyone else, putting surfboard and doing, a lot of things, but at the end, the place is so dirty, you are not taking care of coastal cleaning, garbage, etc., etc., etc. So the next topic, let's talk about epic dining and iconic signatures, entertainment. Why this is very important? Because again, guys, you have to remember, we are talking that in our case, we are helping the countryside. And the only way that you can do that is bring into those places things that people don't need to go far away, let's say to the city, to enjoy those kind of things. So simple example of those is, in our case, again, in La Unión, Dusit is bringing Café Soy, which is one of their signature restaurants worldwide. So they are bringing that kind of experience of Thai food to La Unión, where people don't need to come anymore to Manila to enjoy into that. So another simple example is, for example, we'll bring a NAM spa. It's again another special kind of spa treatment for Dusit. And one thing that we have observed is, in La Unión, a lot of people wants to enjoy, or not in La Unión, I will say in the whole Philippines, they like to have their marriage or other activity by the beach. So that's another simple thing that you can just have it properly done for them to enjoy. At the same time, La Unión right now doesn't have a big ballroom, so we are bringing to La Unión the big ballroom for people, again, to enjoy all kind of activities, even like this one. Like we hope in future we can host this kind of real estate in La Unión. So when we talk about Hassli free, okay, it's again, a lot of Filipinos, they work out. They send money to the Philippines and they buy a property. They need to have a caretaker to take care of the property. They need to pay electricity. They need to pay water. They need to pay association dues. They need to pay probably amortization into the property they are buying. In this case, the beautiful thing about bringing this kind of development into the Philippines is that people is hassle-free into that. How do they do that? Is your home away from home experience? It's fully furnished. You are part of co-owner of a hotel service apartment. At the same time, what is important here is that instead of you to spend money, you will be receiving money in the pool. So meaning to say that depend who is the operator of the hotel, but most likely most of the big brand will make sure they give a good ROI. Instead of you to putting money to pay electricity, caretaker, water, homeowner association, realty tax, probably insurance, you are free of all of this. And at the same time, you can enjoy, let's say, 30 days a year for free and make money on a monthly basis. So you are worry-free. In some cases, we have seen sample like people will say, hey, Fausto, I live in US. During winter, I want to be in the Philippines. And during summer, I want to go back to US. So what they do, they probably will enroll their unit 6 months into the rental program. In other 6 months, they are away. So therefore, they can save money. When they come to the Philippines, they can enjoy life. So those are the kind of hassles free you will have having an international hospitality group. And again, in this specific case, we are talking about Dusit, but there are many brands. Lastly, hospitality sector demand drivers are driven by tourists, business, and MICE, which is meeting, incentive, convention, and exhibits. So I believe with that kind of development, you can cover up. So I'm sorry I ran out of time. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you have any questions, you can approach me. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.